Hey everyone, welcome back. December is shaping up to be one of the strongest closing months of the year, and I've spent the last few weeks diving into demos, previews, gameplay footage, and developer updates to see which titles stand out the most. And honestly, this month is stacked with variety. Cozy games, big RPGs, horror, rhythm action, skateboarding surrealism, and even a few massive open-world projects. So today, I want to walk you through 10 games coming this December that I think deserve your attention. I'll keep the intro short, so let's just jump right in. I want to start with Alchemy Factory because this game instantly grabbed me with its charm. At first glance, it looks like a cute automation-style puzzle game, but once you start looking deeper, you realize there's surprising complexity underneath the cheerful art. You're basically building machines, contraptions, alchemy-powered conveyor systems, and you're trying to automate the creation of magical ingredients. What I love is how expressive everything feels. Pipes stretching, potions bubbling, metal arms assembling weird alchemical objects. The controls are smooth and intuitive, but the depth ramps up fast. And even though it's not a co-op game, it has that "I want to show my friends what I built" vibe. The visuals are warm and colorful, almost like a magical workshop brought to life. It's relaxing but also mentally stimulating, which is a great combo for December. Then there's OCTOPATH TRAVELER 0. If you're like me and loved the original two games, this prequel feels like such a gift. The HD-2D art style is still one of the most beautiful styles in modern JRPGs. That mix of pixel art with unreal lighting, depth of field, particle effects, it's just gorgeous. The combat system returns with its break mechanic and turn-based strategy, and even though this entry is a prequel, it already feels like it's treating the story with the same weight and elegance the series is known for. No co-op here, but honestly, these games are meant to be quiet, personal journeys. It's the kind of game you sink into with a cup of tea, letting the atmosphere carry you. The storytelling is character-driven, the music is pure magic, and everything about it feels polished. Skate Story is honestly one of the most visually fascinating games I've seen in years. You're a glass skateboarder skating through a surreal underworld made of neon, dust, smoke, and reflections. Everything shimmers, cracks, glows. It's such a mood. The physics feel weighty. You feel the risk of falling, the sharp grind of the board, the rhythm of pushing yourself forward. It plays like a skateboarding game mixed with a dream sequence. The trick system is fluid but punishing in a good way. No co-op here either, but it's more of an emotional, artistic experience anyway. It's the type of game you play with headphones at 2 a.m., letting the music and visuals wash over you. I think a lot of people will be surprised how immersive this one gets. Marvel Cosmic Invasion is an absolute blast. And I said this before, but I'll say it again. This game is a love letter to retro brawlers. The pixel art is stunning, the animations are slick, and every hero feels unique. The tag team mechanic, where you switch heroes mid-combo, is one of my favorite things about it. It keeps the gameplay fast, strategic, and chaotic in the best possible way. Co-op is absolutely where this game shines. Local and online, drop in, drop out, all of it works perfectly with the style. The boss fights are flashy and cinematic, and the levels move from New York to cosmic dimensions with this big Marvel energy that never gets old. This is a game made for pure fun. Ashes of Creation is probably the biggest game on this list in terms of scale. It's an open-world MMO that feels like it wants to redefine what a dynamic world looks like. The node system, where towns, cities, and even entire regions evolve based on what players do, still blows my mind. If players trade a lot, you get merchant hubs. If players fight, you get militaristic cities. If players explore, new dungeons open up. The world literally reacts to the community. Combat looks fluid, with both tab target and action elements combined. Co-op? Absolutely. It's an MMO. Dungeons, raids, caravans, sieges, everything in this game screams large-scale cooperation. The graphics are impressive too. Lush forests, detailed armor, huge cities, and massive spell effects. If they deliver on even half of what they're promising, this could be a monster MMO. Cloudheim is a hidden gem. It mixes action RPG, fast-paced combat, and a kind of anime energy that feels playful but stylish. You play as a group of characters diving into a floating island world full of monsters and dungeons. It has this snappy, punchy combat system with dodges, combos, and skill bursts that feel incredibly satisfying. Co-op is present, which makes it even better, running dungeons with friends, collecting loot, optimizing builds. The art style is vibrant, almost pastel-like, with big, expressive characters and charming environments. It reminds me of games that blend cute aesthetics with real mechanical depth. I think Cloudheim might be one of those titles that quietly gains a dedicated fan base. Unbeatable. Wow. This game is a rhythm action experience unlike anything else. The style is hand-drawn anime with bold colors, bright neon pinks and purples, sketchy outlines, and expressive characters. You're basically playing a rhythm game with narrative elements, but the energy is unreal. The music is the heart of the game. Fast, emotional, loud, full of personality. Playing it feels like performing on stage in some alternate dream universe. It's not a co-op game, but it doesn't need to be. It's more about feeling the beat, getting into the flow, and becoming part of the music. If you love rhythm games with strong visual identity, this is absolutely worth checking out. Routine brings us straight back into horror. Atmospheric horror, sci-fi horror, psychological horror. All of it combined into a slow burn trip on the moon. The abandoned base, the electronic hums, the retro tech aesthetic, the mechanical horrors stalking you in the dark. Everything feels deliberately unsettling. It's quiet horror. Horror that sits in your spine rather than jumps at your face. There's no co-op, and honestly, I'm glad. Being alone is what makes this game horrifying. The lighting, the shadows, the animations, the sound, it all works together to create a fear of what you can't see. Routine is one of those games that makes you lean forward, every footstep loaded with tension. Dungeon Rampage is pure fantasy roguelite energy. Fast-paced, explosive, chaotic combat with colorful spells, traps, and enemies filling the screen. It's the kind of game where you die a lot, but each run feels fun because you unlock new classes, new abilities, and new synergies. The co-op mode turns everything into complete madness in the best possible way. Screens full of spells, enemies flying in every direction, teammates reviving each other mid-explosion. The art style is cartoonish but detailed enough to keep things exciting. If you love dungeon crawlers mixed with over-the-top action, this is definitely one to watch. And then we have FEROCIOUS! This game is raw, brutal, and honestly gorgeous in a very primal way. You're exploring an isolated island filled with prehistoric creatures, dense jungles, storms, cliffs, and dangerous wildlife. The lighting is stunning. Shafts of sunlight through fog, reflections off rivers, the roar of distant predators. Combat is weighty, with guns that feel powerful and environments that encourage stealth, exploration, and caution. You're not a superhero here, you're prey. The atmosphere is tense but beautiful, and everything feels alive. FEROCIOUS gives me the same feeling I had the first time I played Crysis, mixed with the survival tension of the forest. It's one of the most visually impressive indie shooters coming out this month. So yeah, December is loaded with variety. From cozy crafting to heavy horror, from rhythm action to massive MMOs, from surreal skateboarding to pixel art superhero chaos. There's genuinely something for everyone here. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed the breakdown, feel free to drop a comment with which game you're most excited for. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.